Welcome to Watchflix. Today I will show you a comedy film from 2006 in the movie titled Click. Warning: spoilers ahead. The movie starts with Michael Newman, who's a workaholic architect, and married his longtime sweetheart, Donna, with his two children, Ben and Samantha. One morning before Michael goes off to the office, Donna reminds him to attend Ben's swim meet this afternoon. Michael's feeling was not interested to attend because of work, but he had no choice but to say yes to Donna. As Michael was on his way to the office, he suddenly stuck in traffic and he arrived late for work. He then asks his assistant, Alice, about the meeting. She told him that the meeting is already started. Hurriedly as he enters the meeting room, he saw his boss discussing with Prince, Habibu. He apologizes to everyone for being late, and told them there was a dumb man parked in his spot owning a red Lamborghini, causing him for being late. Prince Habibu told Michael he drives a red Lamborghini. Then Michael quickly changed and told it was blue Ferrari. In the meeting, Michael presenting the restaurant concept design for Prince Habibu. The prince was not impressed with the concept and wants to change it immediately. At his boss's office, of Mr. John Ammer, Michael's overweening boss, who also consistently bullied him at work. Mr. Ammer offers Michael a proposal to design a luxury hotel for the Japanese Watsuhita. Michael asks Mr. Ammer if he could do it after the 4th of July with his kids, but Mr. Ammer did not agree. Instead, he will put Swardsons to replace him. Then Michael refuses not to give the proposal to Swardsons and immediately accepts Mr. Ammer's proposal. At the swim meet, Michael was late when he arrived. He hurriedly comes to Ben's spot, so he pretends he was there all the time. Ben knew and told his dad he was just got there. At night of celebration, Michael talking to his boss on phone for hours, while his family waited for him to join their family bond. Then the group of teens playing firecrackers and annoys Michael. Michael warns the teens not to do it again. Grandpa Ted shows a magic coin trick to the kids and they were amazed. The second time, the group of teens making fun again of Michael. Michael snaps and angrily chases them. Michael felt sick and coughing, while having a conversation with Donna about postponing the 4th of July camping trip, and told Mr. Ammers puts him on a project. Michael has mistakenly got the helicopter remote controlled instead of the TV remote. Then he accidentally hits himself with the blade of the helicopter. He angrily decided he wants to buy a universal remote as the O'Doyles does. On his way, Michael still looking for a store to buy a universal remote. Suddenly, he saw a store named Bed Bath & Beyond. Michael enters the store and asks the retail associate if they have a universal remote control. The retail associate jokes at Michael and tells him he is not working at the store. The guy pissed Michael and leaves the retail associate alone. After searching each aisle, he saw a bed and lay down. Suddenly he spotted a door named Beyond. Curiously he decides to enter the room to sneak out. There, he befriends a mysterious man named Morty. Michael asks Morty if he has a universal remote control. Then Morty had an extraordinary universal remote control and shows it to Michael. And Morty gives the remote to Michael for free, and told everything about the remote and warns him that it can never be returned. Shortly, he discovers this remote allows him to fast forward, rewind, pause, mute and adjust the volume in his life. To Michael's astonishment, he finds that this remote can control the universe, particularly time. At first, Michael uses the remote to have fun but then starts to use it to his advantage, including interpreting for Japanese clients, or revisit episodes in his life, as well as a time in his childhood. Flashback: during a family vacation in New Hampshire, the other kids had refused his invitation in favor of another family who had more compared to his family. However, Michael also uses the remote to skip quarrels with Donna, to keep away from suffering a cold. Michael uses the remote by skipping to the part at which he recovers, and to skip a family dinner to finish an important project. Later, Morty reveals that when Michael fast-forwards through time, his body is on autopilot. While his mind skips ahead, his body goes through the movement of daily life. After Mr. Ammer promises Michael in partnership, Michael decides to skip ahead but ends up skipping a year of his life. Michael also finds out that he is in marriage counseling. His children prefer to watch CSI instead of Dragon Tales. And he missed the death of his dog, Sundance. Then the plot takes a turn. The remote begins fast-forwarding on its own. Morty explains that the remote programs itself according to Michael's previous order. Michael's numerous attempts to dispose or destroy the remote fail, so he resolves to change his life so that the remote can no longer control him. The next day, Mr. Ammer tells Michael he is retiring and suggests that one day Michael may become CEO. Temporarily forgetting his plan to overreach the remote, Michael says he would like to become CEO. The remote reacts consistently and fast-forwards to 2017. Michael is now the CEO of the company with all the power and wealth he had dreamed of. However, he also suffers from being obese due to overeating while on autopilot. His daughter and son are now teenagers. His daughter dresses inappropriately. His son suffers from being overweight. He and Donna are now divorced. Michael lives in a separate residence. Michael also discovers that Donna is now dating Ben's childhood swim coach, Bill. While visiting his old house, Michael fights with Ben, Donna, and Bill. And the new family dog jumps on him, causing him to fall and hit his head on a brick wall, knocking him unconscious. Having learned from Michael when he skipped his cold, the remote transport him 6 years into the future. Donna presents how a precautionary CAT scan after Michael's fall revealed cancer. And how he ate so much during chemotherapy as to eventually suffer from a heart attack. Now, at the end of those 6 years, Michael is no longer obese. Donna and Bill are now married. And Ben have gone into his father's line of work. Michael is devastated when Ben tells him his father Ted passed away. Michael, visiting his father's grave, tries to use the remote to go to the moment when Ted was on his deathbed. But Morty shows up to say the remote only works for times and places where Michael had been present. So Michael uses the remote to take him to the point when he last saw Ted alive. Which is when Ted made an impromptu visit to his son's and grandson's office. He sees that, while on autopilot, he had rejected his father's offer for a night out with him. Broken-hearted, Ted had said, "I love you, son," and walked away with Ben. That was the last time he saw his dad. Then Morty reveals he is the angel of death. Upset with his life, Michael begs to go to a good place, and fast-forwards to Ben's wedding in 2029. Then Michael and Donna dancing their theme song. Suddenly, he witnesses and heard Samantha calls Bill, Dad, and the shock triggers a second heart attack. When Michael awakens, Morty appears and tells him due to his chosen path, and is powerless to do anything about it. Michael's family arrives, and Ben reveals that he has cancelled his honeymoon to work on an important deal that will keep his business going. Not wanting Ben to make the same mistakes he did, Michael rushes after him. A nurse attempts to stop him, but Michael manages to get away and ignores him, and then the nurse continues to stop Michael. Michael shot the nurse with an injection and continued to escape. Morty's repeated warnings that he will die unless he goes back to the hospital, saying he must get in his last words to his family. As soon as Michael reaches his family and collapses, but manages to convince Ben that family must come first. He reassures the others that he still loves them, and Morty approaches to take him. There is a white flash, and Michael wakes up in the bed onto which he had collapsed at Bed Bath & Beyond. Overjoyed Michael convincing himself that the events have all been a dream. A refined Michael offers his friendship towards the store's lonely retail associate. Then Michael goes to his parents' house and tells them that they are always welcome at his home and asks his dad to teach him the coin magic trick. Then Michael goes home, where he reassures Donna, Ben, and Samantha of his affection for them. Agreeing to help the family with their plans for a camping trip and saying that he will never again neglect them. As he celebrates being home, Michael finds the remote and a note sitting on his kitchen counter. He realizes his experience was not a dream but a warning. The note is from Morty. It says, "Good guys need a break," and that he knows Michael will do the right thing this time. Michael thanks Morty, but then disposes of the remote in the trash bin. And goes to enjoy the company of his family. Thanks for watching. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and drop a comment below on your favorite part, and subscribe to our channel and ring notification for more videos like this.